Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. Gina, I almost just had a little bit of a laughing fit.
That's a good thing,
I
right?
haven't had it for a while, but we had a laughing fit in the office this morning about something. Let me tell you what it was.
Good release, right?
It was a good release. I'll give you a hint about what it was. It's really, really childish.
All right.
If you have an iPhone, what is really fun sometimes is to have Siri read your texts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and how she describes the emojis. Somehow this struck us
What
as
kind
hilarious.
of emoji? Which
I'm not even going to tell you which one.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
All right, we won't go there.
Sometimes you need a good laugh around here, like a really good one, and this was a really good one.
All right.
So, back to serious town business, what's going on in town government. At our meeting this week, it was on the shortish side, I would say. We had some announcements. One of the announcements was that on Wednesday, May 17th at 10:30 a.m. at the training room of the Four Fairgrounds facility, there will be a presentation of 2016 water quality testing results. And this will be given by the contractor that we use to review the data collected, and that is UMass Dartmouth. And Dr. Brian Howes is the person who's been coming for several years now to do this presentation. So this is our annual presentation, and it's for the 2016 water quality results. At our meeting this week, Natural Resources Coordinator Jeff Carlson gave a summary of the results, and these are mostly with several ponds and harbor areas. So we
Some pretty positive, I noticed.
Some, but there's a lot of issues that we're going to need to really seriously deal with.
Right.
Our other maybe biggish thing this week was a public hearing to review entertainment license violation of Queequeg's, Town, and the Tree Bar. They're all under one license. And there were some complaints of incidents that happened over the last few months. So in a nutshell, after a lot of discussion, what the board just voted on was to require doors and windows to be closed at 10 p.m., that the outdoor speakers at the Tree Bar must be not played after the Tree Bar is closed for the season, and any further complaints will result in further action taken by the board. The board also had another discussion about entertainment licenses in general, specifically the licenses that are allowed to have, that allow the establishments to have outdoor music. Mostly these are downtown, and the discussion had to do with maybe a more detailed discussion at a later time about whether or not we're going to try to modify them to something else. Maybe they're open too late. Maybe they're fine, but it seems that they're not totally fine. And there may be some other issues besides noise that are, there are some other issues besides noise that are generating some concern. For example, outdoor televisions. And there's one or two places in particular where this is allowed on their license, but there's concern about it. So we had a very similar discussion in 2012 and 2013 on this, and it didn't really end in any kind of definable outcome. So we're going to go back and review the minutes from that time and probably revive this discussion, probably more towards the end of the summer, maybe mid to end of the summer, probably end of the summer.
Do you, I mean, you know, we're growing, so we've got more people coming, more people are spending more time downtown.
And there's more businesses.
You know, his incident was a little strange to me, though. I mean, he was the only place open. It was January 28th or something?
It was
the middle of January?
It was in the winter.
And somebody complained that it was loud. And
well,
couldn't they have worked that out themselves? I mean, without it becoming such a huge issue? I
don't really know. But it really shouldn't necessarily be up to a complainant to work it out with the establishment, especially if the establishment's license does not allow the type of music that was being played. It's supposed to be quiet background music, and this was not quiet.
They were going crazy in there, huh?
Evidently.
Sounds that way.
It sounded that way. Apparently there's a video of this. Staff hasn't seen it, but we're going to try to get a hold of it. But
Yeah,
I guess it was
they put it on the Girls Gone Wild website? I don't know.
All right, Gina, let's not get too totally carried away. So we also had our auditor in, and he reviewed the results of the fiscal year 2016 audit, as he comes in every year and gives a review of the audit. The water quality testing I gave...
Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about that.
Do we have to?
I was there.
And?
It was very interesting.
Was
you know,
it?
Matt Fee seemed to take particular interest. He was right on it.
About the audit?
He was the only one asking questions about the audit, and it looked pretty good for us. We should
It did.
let people know that, you know, the town is...
It looked pretty good for us. That being said, I don't want to make it look too good, because there were what's known as significant deficiencies, which had to be brought up. They have since been resolved, and they involved a couple of instances of...
not reporting quick enough.
Yeah, there's a reporting problem, and there's been some turnover in the department, and to make a long story short, it's pretty well resolved. There's another issue with close of monthly close of financial reports and things like that, but it is definitely getting worked out. And the audit, even so, the auditor did say these significant, even though that's their special term, significant deficiency, it's an audit term. Even so, it pales in comparison, I believe were his words, to the audits from several years ago, 5 or more years ago, where we had much worse problems.
Yeah.
So those have been straightened out and resolved. And I think overall, I mean, this doesn't really have anything to do with the town's financial condition. It's more the audit issues and the reporting and the tracking and all that. I mean,
He said that we
don't want anybody to think we're not tracking and doing this properly. We are.
Yeah.
They were just, every town has some kind of a finding by its auditor. There's no town that doesn't have a finding by its auditor.
And isn't he responsible for our rating, or encourages the rating?
Well, he's not responsible for it, no. The bond rating agencies are responsible for that. But he was instrumental, I would say, last year when we got a bond rating increase with Standard & Poor's.
We're a double A?
We are a double A.
And then the top is triple A, and we're almost there.
Well, the different bond rating, we're a double A plus.
Okay.
The different bond rating agencies have different ratings, and our next stop is Moody's, which we're going to probably do something with them in the fall, and we're going to hope for a higher rating as well with them. That sounds like that in me out in the hall, coughing. I'm trying so hard not to cough right now. So anyway, the audit.
What does that do for the town if we do get a better rating?
Well, it potentially it attracts more bond investors and makes your bond payments perhaps slightly less in the very basic sense of things. Mm-hmm. It makes your bonds more attractive to a wider group of people. It's a good thing. Anyway, so we had the audit, and the audit committee also had met earlier in the day with the audit. The audit committee has on it by charter the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, another selectman, and the chairman of the finance committee. And the chairman of the finance committee wasn't able to be present, but the 2 selectmen were present, and they asked a lot of questions at the audit committee meeting. So we had already gone through a lot of stuff there. Mm-hmm. I also gave the board my monthly town management activity report. And at next week's meeting, we're working to finalize the agenda as we speak, but we have the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is coming in, and they're going to be running by the board a concept of using funds, municipal funds, to make loans for the acquisition of property for affordable housing. And we're going to learn a lot more about this at the meeting, but that's the basic concept. We also have Atlas Restaurant coming in, and they are seeking an alteration of premises for their liquor license. They would like to have some outdoor seating. And the police chief's going to come in and review an issue with speed limits. At this 2017 annual town meeting, the town meeting, adopted a mass general law that allows cities and towns to establish a 25 mile per hour, that's the lowest you can establish, 25 mile per hour speed limit. It was 30 in what's called thickly settled or business district areas. So we have a work group that's getting together to look at those areas and where we might want to reduce the speed limit to 25 miles per hour officially. And we're going to get some board input on that and just a general update. So that's what's coming up next week. We have a lot of vacancies upcoming on committee, boards, and commissions. So if people are interested in volunteering for the town, please go to the town website, www.nantucket-ma.gov, and check it out. There's lots of opportunity. And what else is going on?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Check out that website if you want to be on a board. It's a good place to get involved.
Yes, it is. We have some upcoming. I'll make note of this again when we do this next week, I think. But we have some upcoming sewer project neighborhood meetings coming up. Monday, May 15th at 5 o'clock. We are inviting the Meadowview neighborhood area to a sewer meeting. That area is going to be sewered. And this will talk about specifically what it means for the property owners in that area. And the next day, May 16th, Tuesday, May 16th at 5 o'clock, we have Tashima neighborhood area. And
I'm surprised that wasn't sewered in the first place, in Meadowview.
Well, Gino,
yeah,
it wasn't.
All right.
Those both are taking place in the community room at 4 Fairgrounds Road, first floor community room. So that's what's happening around here. It's going to rain. Is it really going to rain later today? It doesn't really look like it.
It's going to rain at least tonight. We're
Does
hoping it holds off because we have a big lacrosse game.
Well, I was going to say, I need to know if lacrosse is canceled or not. And tennis.
Ah.
Are those things going to be? I like to know these things ahead of time.
It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. So, what else you got?
I can't think of anything else right now, Libby.
There's a lot of projects going on. And people getting ready to open for summer, and everybody wants their.
By the way, when is Prospect Street going to be repaved? Would you, if you had to guess?
You're not going to like it.
All right. In the fall?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So we're going to have to deal with patches. Okay. Well, that's good to get people. Tell them now.
Lower your expectations right now.
All right.
Patching till fall, and even then, it isn't going to be curb to curb paving.
It's not going to be what?
Curb to curb repaving.
Why?
It's a long, complicated story. It will be patched better than it is now, but it isn't going to be full on repaved.
Doesn't it need to be though? At some point.
At some point, yes, but there's also sewer work that's going to need to be done in that road.
Oh, I see.
And probably other utility work. So. This is hopefully the last project we're going to see that doesn't have well in advance coordination by multiple town departments. Let me just put it like that.
Yeah, but we
and going
prepare
forward,
yourself for the sewers though. I mean, there's a lot of
prepare yourself for sewers. And what we're really trying to do is there's the above ground work and then there's the below ground work. And the below ground work theoretically should be done first. And we have an awful lot of below ground work all over town that needs to be redone. There are sewer lines, water lines, utility issues, and as new businesses and buildings and things have been reconstructed and rebuilt, the above ground stuff has been probably dealt with mostly, but not the below ground stuff. And for example, we had a meeting recently, this is probably a little bit of TMI, but we were meeting recently about downtown sidewalk improvements. And we were saying, you know, before we go reconstructing sidewalks, we've got to deal with drainage issues, the other things I just mentioned, and then deal with the above ground, more visible things. It's one, you know, because otherwise we're just putting a Band-Aid on it, really. So that's what we're working towards. And it's a challenge. It's all very challenging.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Gino, for bringing that up.
Sure.
Anything else?
That's it.
Think of? All right. Thanks very much. See you next time.